Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show. Thank you all so much for being here. Title tonight is What Are You Feeling? And before I get into a quick introduction, I just want to say for anyone who's joining us out there for the first time, be sure to just say something in the chat so we know you're here, and that way I'll put you in line for a reading and we get to everybody in order. So, first time, of course, it's always free, and then going forward from there, it's $10 per reading, or you can do $100 and cover the entire month, which the show runs 3 times per week, so that's a pretty sweet deal there. Now, for tonight's topic, this what are you feeling? One thing that I like to remind myself is that every feeling is there to communicate something to us. And joy and expansiveness tell us that an experience is beneficial to us in some way, whereas anger tends to show us where our boundaries are or where they need to be. Now, the list goes on, but every feeling vibrates at a different frequency, with joy vibrating much, much higher than feelings like anger and sadness. And while people usually experience a really wide range of the emotional spectrum throughout the course of the day, where they spend the most of their time determines their overall or average vibratory rate. Now, this general vibration, or overall vibration, determines the quality of the experiences that we're attracting in life. So, another important thing to keep in mind is that we all have free will, and that's the choice as to what we want to feel from moment to moment. And even if it might not seem that way, like sometimes, that other person made me mad. Well, no, ultimately the choice to be angry or not about any given experience is ultimately mine and yours. So I hope you all remember that you're powerful creators, and that you decide to create more joy and abundance in your life, whatever that looks like to you. And that's all I have to say tonight. Thank you all so much for listening, and here's Christopher.
A beautiful Wednesday night to all of you. Welcome in. We light the incense to give you more joy, to really focus and change your thinking, or just even to be aware of your thinking and where your thoughts are coming from, and retraining your thoughts. So great blessings to you. Here's to creating more joy, more acts of joy, more ways of being joyful in your life. So the incense is lit. And I just wanted to help. I think Kennan's topic tonight was extremely important. Where are your feelings coming from? What are they? Where do they originate? And it helps us to be able to control the thoughts rather than let them just run wild. With all of our technology, as far as the human race goes, in this age that we're living in, we only know or understand about 5% of the oceans. We really don't know what's down there. We only really understand, again, I looked this up separately, but it was really interesting because they figure that 5% of the universe is normal, observable matter. The other 95%, no idea what it is. So with that human eye, even the 5% that we can see is with a human eye that only sees 0.1% of the electromagnetic spectrum of light. Birds can sense magnetic fields. Snakes can see infrared. But humans, 0.1% of that entire spectrum. So we're really, really very limited. So many times when I pull a card for you, it's one card. It's 1 to 2 to 3 to maybe 5 minutes tops. It is literally the tip of the iceberg. Now, most of you have experienced me giving you a call because when I'm looking at it, it takes me, it's like the universe playing charades with me. And it takes me sometimes a minute to go, what is this message for you? Like, what is it that you need to know? And I love hearing back from you. I love hearing these, and I've gotten more and more feedback, and I really, really appreciate that as to what's going on, how it's helping. But it's really to show that you're connected with the universe. So Hannah is on tonight. I want to give you an example. So I hope you don't mind me talking about you, Hannah. I did ask permission a couple of shows ago. But Hannah is a brilliant artist, singer. And sometimes when I read a card for you, it may not make any sense to you at all. But I just would ask that you take a picture of it while you're on the show with your camera, maybe take notes, or you can always go back and rewatch the episode. Because sometimes you've heard me say to Kenan, did that make sense to you? What did I just say? So please understand that sometimes when things come through, wait a few days, because it will begin to make more sense. I promise you. But my point of telling you this story is, if we know so little about the oceans or so little about the universe, we know even less about the world in the microcosm, the how atoms and how protons and neutrons and all of those work together, and even the world of thought, and especially the spiritual world. So I wanted to share with you the group card tonight, which I thought was really profound. It's called Angelic Frequency. When you break down the universe, when you break down everything around you, when you break down yourself, everything is frequency. So this card tonight is assure you that your angels are directing. You have an angelic frequency around you. So I'm going to go back to tell about Hannah. I gave her a personal reading, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks ago, Hannah. And it made no sense to me. I'm like, what is the thing with maple leaves with you? And so she looked it up, the metaphysical meaning of maple leaves, and it had a great meaning, but I'm like, no, that's not it. Now, when I give you a full reading, in which many of you had, you understand where we can go into a lot more depth. But finally I just said to her, oh, the maple leaf. It's on the flag of Canada. Who do you know in Canada? She's like, boom, my dad. My dad lives in Canada. And then one of his best friend is a huge music producer. And she just had a meeting with this music producer today through Zoom. And during the session, she looked up, and dragonflies have a huge symbolic meaning for her, or a very spiritual meaning for her. And she very rarely sees them. But during this meeting, there were 3 dragonflies. So angels may not appear to you as these beautiful heavenly creatures with wings and glowing. It can appear to you as a dragonfly. They can show up in just songs on the radio, You know, I'll tell you this again, but about 2 months ago, I did a podcast with a couple of really great guys out of Texas. And it was very similar to this show. They had it set up, and people would come on, and I would read for them. I started reading for this one gentleman, and after the show, Joey, one of the guys that put on the show, texts me and he tells me this story. And I'll call this guy Sam. He said, "You started to read for Sam." And Sam texted me afterwards. And Sam said, he goes, "I have to watch the show again, Joey. I'm really sorry, but as soon as Chris started reading for me, I began to hear music. We began to hear music. And we couldn't figure out where it was coming from, but it was my dad's favorite song. And his dad had passed a year ago. So they got distracted from the show, and they began to look through the house for this music. Going down the hallway, it started to get louder, and they realized it was in the locked bedroom. It was coming from the locked bedroom. It was the bedroom that nobody had been in for a year, because that was the bedroom that his father had passed away in. And they unlocked the door, opened it up, and there was his dad's cell phone on the bed, not having been charged for a year, playing his dad's favorite song. You can't tell me that's not an angel or a spiritual direction. And it appears to you when you need it the most. So here we go. This is the angelic frequency, and you're all tuning into it. You all have access to it. Use it. Trust it. You're being guided. You're being directed. Okay.
First is Austin.
Okay, Austin. Thanks for being here. It's been a while since you've been the first on the show, so congratulations. Good job. Guilt is a bugger. It really is. So much of our society is made up of putting wrongness or badness on other people, in our families, right? In society. So, or the fear of saying the wrong thing to the wrong person. And it's actually like almost celebrated. You know, if you're on social media, you get these Karen videos. They call them Karen, where these people are really, really upset, right? And it's what Ken was talking about with these emotions. The best thing you can do with guilt, Austin, so many people are driven by guilt, is to allow them to feel that feeling, but be free of it being projected on you. I'm not saying, I mean, none of us are completely blameless, but to carry that guilt around for breaking rules that, number one, you're never told about. So there are people that play this game. So imagine you're playing a game. You come over to a friend's house and they go, come on, Austin, let's play this game. Okay, what are the rules? Oh, no. I can't tell you the rules. But maybe you'll figure it out as we play. Oh, no, I'm not going to explain to you the rules. But, you'll catch on. Well, you know what? you kind of never really do catch on. And that is a energy pull. It's where people don't tell you the rules, but they have these rules made up in their mind. They have this game made up in their mind, but they just don't share them with anyone. And so when someone doesn't meet the rules of the game according to them, they spew this wrongness toward that person. Anywhere anyone's ever done that to you, Austin, can you clear that now? Just return to sender. And it's sometimes, it's their standard SOP, standard operating procedure. If that's their standard operating procedure, Austin, don't play that game no more. Okay? All right. Who's next?
Very good. Jared and Kat are on.
Hey, Jared and Kat. Okay. Don't you just want to know everything? Like, you get a new book and you just go right to the end and read the last chapter. You want to know how everything works out, how it's going to work out. If we were meant to teleport, we'd be teleporters. No big deal in the universe. People actually do teleport. But then you miss the whole journey, right? You miss going to Popeye's chicken along the road, right? You miss the IHOP pancakes. You miss seeing the biggest ball of yarn on this journey that you're on. Trust the moment. This is the angelic direction for you, Jared. Oh, so I'll give you an example. Okay, give you an example. Is Scott on the show yet? Ambrosi? Okay. So Ambrosi and I are going up to Sholo this weekend. Sholo's kind of in the middle of nowhere, Arizona. Beautiful little town, Pine Top, Sholo Pine Top area. And he finished the script today. So, woo! I texted a couple of you. I was so freaking excited. Now, that is the first step, Jared. It's just, it's the first draft of the script. Now, if any of you are writers, any of you are painters, Lindsay, any of you that do any kind of art, you know it's a process. And there's a creative process where you can correct, and but it's the first step of the script. So I wanted to share that with you and tell you this, Jared, that I didn't see that coming. I did not see that coming. I didn't see Ambrosi stepping into my life and volunteering to do this after he read my book. That I wanted to give you that example of the step is taken, then the path appears. The step is taken, then the path appears for you. So pull back any worry, any energy that you're projecting into this future about, am I on the right path? What step do I take next? This is pure, unadulterated, trusting the universe, that angelic guidance. Okay, Kat. Simon and Garfunkel, slow down. You move too fast. You got to make the morning last. Just kicking down the cobblestones and feeling groovy. Ken, what is it that I say? Your your emergency doesn't make it my emergency. What is that?
Urgency, emergency.
Yeah. Your urgency doesn't make it my emergency. Anywhere, Kat, where people are making, or you got to do this and you have to do, it has to be done. You got to do the. Are you willing to let go of making it your emergency? It's the slow and steady win the race. So there's someone, or there's actually a few people, anywhere where anyone's putting demands on you, just step back and go, what's really behind these demands? And if you just step back and slow down a little bit, rather than trying to reach their demand or making it your emergency, look at what's behind it. And then you can actually give them what they really need. It's also spa time. Okay.
Melinda's on next, yeah.
Who?
Melinda LeBron.
Hey, Mindy. Okay. Melinda's my niece in northern Idaho, an amazing artist in herself. Melinda, take a minute and look at how all of the pieces have really come together for you. Oh, okay. So they're telling me to tell you, years ago, one time I bought years, I mean 20, 30, or 40 years, I don't know, a long time ago, I bought a jigsaw puzzle. And it had a really beautiful picture on the box. And so as you do, you take it out of the box, dump it on the table, put the box lid with the picture on it by the jigsaw puzzle. And you kind of start putting it together. And I'm like, well, this is weird because the colors really aren't the same. So I ended up not using that picture at all. Follow me? Well, it turns out that they had the wrong jigsaw in the wrong box, or the right jigsaw in the wrong box, the wrong jigsaw in the right box. I don't know. The jigsaw did not match the picture. So however any of us have thought life should be, or think life should turn out the way it is, you know what? Look at what you've done with the pieces you've been given. Mindy, give yourself a little credit. Okay? Jared, Kat. I'm looking at who, Teresa, everybody on the show tonight. Austin, Lindsay. Dudes, people, great blessings to you, great accolades. Because maybe life did not turn out like your picture. But you know what? Give yourself some credit for putting the pieces together anyway and finding how they work. And look at what you've contributed. Look at who you've helped. It's not about quantity. It's about quality. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful card. Okay.
Marilyn and Abby are on.
Hey, Marilyn and Abby. I loved getting it. So I'm going to share Abby's text with you all. So Abby texted me. She said, this is from yesterday. She says, we were just listening to your show from last night. And what's so funny is we're bringing in a new dog. We're adopting a boxer. And we're having house guests coming in this Friday. I guess the energy was really strong. And it's interesting how it all manifested. So I love that, Abby. Thank you for sharing that. And I love hearing that because I'm able to share it with all of you. And I actually don't remember the reading, Abby. So I'm glad I remember something about a dog, but it comes through you, right? It comes right through you. And anyway, okay, let's get back to Abby and Marilyn. Marilyn, my dear. You know, your angels have a really funny sense of humor. The first thing I see is Abby giving you, Marilyn, airplane rides. Do you remember when you were a little kid? So Abby would be laying on the floor and she'd lift her legs and then you put your belly on Abby's legs and then soar Marilyn around. This will help with your trust issues, Marilyn. giving each other an airplane ride. It's lightening up. This is your spirit, your soul, your energy field lightening up. So things that no longer serve you to your best and highest, darker things are leaving that energy field. They're vacating big time. So you have more space. You have more creative space. It's like you're giving yourself an airplane ride. I freaking love this card. I hope you can take a picture of it because, Marilyn, this embodies you. This embodies you to the T, to the core. And just laughing more. You're going to be laughing more. Okay. All right, Abby, here we go. So, you remember we were talking about, Abby, we don't know the oceans very much. 5%. We see 1/10 of 1% of the visible light. You're moving from 1G to 5G when it comes to your inner voice. And you're able to trust it. So for both of you, it's really interesting how I love when I pull a card for a family where there's this trust the inner voice. Trust the inner voice. The universe is stranger than we can think. We can't figure. If we can't figure out, if the embodiment of humankind, the 7-8 billion people that are alive on the earth, can't figure out the oceans, which are visible, they're right in front of us, and you guys live right by the ocean. If we only understand 5% of the ocean as a collected group of humanity, 8 billion people, sometimes we can't figure everything out. This is developing and listening to your inner voice. You get this feeling something's wrong, something's off. Universe, show me now what is off. Bring this to fruition. I feel really good. Bring this to fruition. I have an idea. Bring this to fruition. This is the inner voice. and let go of the picture. Again, this is going back to the Melinda's card, is letting go of the picture of how you thought life should be or how it should be for other people. There we go. Okay. Great card. Okay. Okay, Diney, here we go. So, I actually felt 3 cards fell out, Diane, but they're all really good. These are great messages for you, but also for the group. Google, or I'm sorry, YouTube. You can YouTube brain exercises. Okay, remember on the show we've talked about doing this one, just a simple brain exercise. When they've put electrodes up to the human brain while people are doing this, it helps to build neural pathways. Okay, it helps to build the connections between the neurons in the brain, this exercise, but it also helps to build new neural pathways. So there's a lot of different exercises on YouTube. This is building your brain. So in my book, I talk about these nuns in Mankato, Minnesota. And when they died, they all lived to be, maybe, a lot of them lived to be centenarians. When they would donate their bodies to science, all of the scientists found that pretty much all of the nuns had major brain disintegration, major signs of trauma, things that would be associated with Alzheimer's. But when they went back to the convent and they interviewed the nuns' friends who were still alive, the nuns said, "Oh no, Sister Mary was beautiful. She had full use of her mind, did all of her prayers, did all of her duties. No, she didn't have dementia. But the physical evidence is that she did." So they went back and they studied the living nuns. And what they discovered is every year the nuns would come down on their birthday and they go, "This year I'm going to learn violin. This year I'm going to learn Spanish. This year I'm going to learn crochet." And they would study, and it would help to build new brain connections. So that's what this brain integration is about, because it's going to help your creativity, okay, and the transformation. This is really important because we're here on this show to transform. That is why you're here. You're here to hear the good news. You're here to hear the news that will help you transform. So, great cards.
Yeah, Marilyn Pitts is next.
Okay, Marilyn Pitts. Hey. So, Marilyn, brilliant card. We were talking about the mind and building these brain connections. And you have worked for 30 years. You were a hospice nurse, so you definitely have worked with people that have had Alzheimer's or those type of dementia, all types of dementia. Anywhere, Marilyn, where you get hooked or caught. I think before you came on the show, I used the illustration of an Angora sweater, wearing an Angora sweater and trying to climb through a barbed wire fence. You're going to get hooked. Anywhere where you have been, where your mind has tried to make a meaning or a reason for something, are you willing to let go of that? Because we as humans can get fixated on, hey, you know that white foam that washes up on the shore of the beach? You know that white foam? that's milk from the whales. And we can, like, we could convince ourselves. I know it sounds ridiculous. I'm using this as an illustration, Marilyn, but anywhere where you've convinced yourself of the foam that's in the ocean is coming from the milk of whales, are you willing to let go of that? Where you've been taught that, and because you've been taught it by somebody that's an authority, man, husband, father, parents, doctor, lawyer, anywhere where you've been told that this is the answer, or trying to figure things out as to why things happened the way they did, can get you your Angora sweater caught in that barbed wire fence. This is more freedom. This is more letting go and experiencing the spiritual, which is really nothing to do, or very little to do, with the mind. But again, these exercises will help. And it will help build new neural pathways around any damaged areas. And I don't mean physically damaged, but anywhere the belief systems don't serve you. Okay, who's next?
Awesome. It's Lori.
Hey, Lori. Good to have you back again. Okay. So this card came in line with the mind card. There have been a couple of people I've told I've told them, I said, girl, you need to open a travel agency, because the places you go in your mind, you need to start charging for it. So this is, you learned to survive and there's no wrongness, there's no badness about this. This is just a simple, you learn to survive by escaping. I used to be called the Crisco Kid, because I'd be in a room, I'd be with somebody for 30 seconds, and then I'd be gone. And they go, where did Chris go? Because that, for me, that momentum kept me unavailable to look at the real issues. So this is about, okay, so literally this is about traveling, like getting away from the people and creating a new life and some new friendships. And then also bringing your mind back to you rather than letting it run amok like a horse with no reins. And it's just because it's something I can speak to this, I can address this personally. This was one of the major issues with me in the past, where I had to keep going, because I didn't want to look at what I'd been through or take a really good look at it. So this is traveling in, taking the journey in, Lori. And you know what, I absolutely think counseling for everyone is important. You know, and it may not be necessarily like a counselor, but it could be a really good friend. And also that's, you know, it's why I do my readings, because it's helping people see the unseen, or what they're not able to see. Rather than take 10 years, a couple of readings usually condense that down into a couple sessions. So, all right.
Also, Lindsay's nice.
Hey, Lindsay. Yeah, I can't help but see this card and think Michael Jackson. We are the world. We are the children, right? We talked a little bit about this on Monday night. This is an expansion of that. One of your gifts is to help the adult get in touch with their child again. It's just a magical gift that you have. And there's something about your art that does that. I don't know whether it's the combination of colors, it's the energy behind it. And you getting in touch more so. They want to give you huge kudos for the work that you've done in getting in touch with your inner child. And like Kenan was talking about, spending more time in that joy. Like this is your joy spreading. And you're really good at helping people find their joy, which then gives you joy. Because there is more giving, there's more joy in giving than receiving. But they say, stay open to receiving. Okay. All right. Thank you. Who's next?
Hannah de la Vega.
Hey, Hannah. Okay. Oh gosh, Amanda. Hannah. Let me think. What is this? What is this? What does this mean? Oh, it's abundance. Need I say any more? It literally is abundance. We've talked about this on the show before, but this Colors of the Wind, I love that from Pocahontas. And it comes on top of Lindsay with her card and the We Are the Children and the effect and this building of who you are. Maybe 1,000 years from now, 100 years from now, when we're all sitting on clouds, looking down and looking back, going, oh my God, that one thought that I had went out to the universe and affected the entire world. It changed the world. That one thought. So Hannah, that one song, that one word, this abundance. Are you willing to allow more of this abundance in without any fear of the next shoe dropping because of past experiences? Are you willing to leave the past in the past? Think of it as a dog. And the dog comes up and you're going, no, go lay down. Go lay down. Put those old thoughts, those old experiences away and bring in this abundance. And that's what I get to for you, Lindsay. Oh, it's so funny. You've been decorating your house in a way that makes you happy. That's that joy. And with Hannah, with you, with this color and are you willing to fully accept your own style? And are you willing to let go of the need to fit in You know, it's like Jared. Dr. Jared's a dentist. He's not willing to have his office look like other dentists' office, or he's not willing to operate on the same operating system maybe that other dentists work on. So he's moving outside his comfort zone, and that's what you're doing here, and it's extremely abundant. It's just abundant, not just financially, but just soul-wise, just feeding your soul. Okay. And
Also, joining the show for the first time is Ashley. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Ashley,
Yeah.
thank you for joining the show for the first time. Everybody welcome Ashley. It's nice to have you. So actually, when my mom passed away, this card is called schizophrenia. Let me explain it first, okay? When my mom passed away, I was holding her hand, and I realized she's letting go of her family, her friends, her career, her money, her jewelry, everything. She's letting go. I'm not going to go into too much depth here, Ashley, but thank you for being here on the show. Are you willing to let go of the demands that a friend or a couple of friends are putting upon you to be a certain way or to do a certain thing, or just constantly demanding of your time and energy? And anywhere where you have made the well, they're my friends, I should do that. Are you willing to let go of the coulda, woulda, shoulda? Because with friends like that, who needs enemies? They're draining you of energy. Pull your energy back so that you have more energy for you. Okay? So that you're not feeling like sometimes you're kind of torn apart, or anywhere where you've had to be the peacemaker. Are you willing to let go of that? Anywhere where you tried to help or fix somebody, like say an alcoholic. Okay? The alcoholic, the best thing you can do for the alcoholic is when they go into those delirium tremens, that alcohol withdrawal, just move the furniture, let them thrash. Allow them to hit rock bottom. Anywhere, are you willing to allow people to hit rock bottom? Because they need to get their lesson. Well, they don't need to, but it'd be really good for them to get their lesson. And hey, you've hit rock bottom. You've been in rock bottom before. With relationships, we all have. Allow people to hit rock bottom. Okay, thank you. Who's next?
We get Teresa Mull.
Hey, Teresa. Okay. Teresa, any judgment around laziness are you willing to let go of? Is it okay to allow yourself to be lazy? Any conceptions, any imprints, any projections where people have put wrongness or badness around being lazy, are you willing to just let go and just return to sender and just, it's okay. It's important for you to take some downtime. Because the thing is, you're growing. We're all growing. It's okay to take some time off. I'm not talking about 10 years. I'm just talking about taking a day or two or three or four, whatever it takes to be lazy and to lose any judgment around laziness. Okay, good. Who's next?
Nice. It's Richard and Alex. Aaliyah.
Richard and Aaliyah. Awesome. Nice to have you guys back. Thank you. Okay, Aaliyah, Bia, Fofia, V5, Fofia, Aaliyah. So Aaliyah is this amazing actress, and we went to her play called Into the Woods a couple months back. So I love that play, Aaliyah, and if you look at it and the moral behind it and how people's behavior entwined other people and that entwined other people and that it's, are you willing to look at your life like a play? And I love the term play. This is more playing more. And when people are demanding of you, well, so this is very good because dealing with Ashley's card. When people are demanding of you, think about a character in that play. Well, the role that you played of the Cinderella's mother, where she was very demanding, the stepmother, demanding of Cinderella. Anywhere where anyone like that is in your life, can you just step back and go, oh my God, you're such a great actress. That, like, wow, you really believe this part, that you came here on Earth. Like, wow, you really bought into it. Yay, you need to win the Academy Award. To that person, if you get my drift, that all the world is a play. All the world is a stage. And we as humans are players on it. And let go. Are you willing to let go of the suppression? Because there are actors, there are people out there that what are those Spanish soap operas called, Aaliyah? You know what I'm talking about, where they're just over the top acting, right? It's over the top, and they're almost comical. Over the top drama. Are you willing to let go of that? That's not you. And just view things as a play and observe things. Like, I learned so much from that play, so thank you so much for inviting me. Okay, Richard, here we go. So, Richard, I didn't know, I don't know, when I was 17 or 16 or something, and I went and got glasses, I was like, whoa, those trees actually have branches and leaves on them. Because up till that time, I just thought they were green blobs. I thought that's what trees look like. They were just green blobs. This is you developing a new vision. And so take care of your, like Maslow's pyramid, right? Take care of the primary needs, the food, the house, the home, then the relationship, the nurturing. There's this new vision coming for you to where it'll be like spiritual glasses, and you'll see something new, because that's who you are. You see things, you create things, you see things other people don't. So that's coming. And who's next?
Great, it's Naomi Webster.
Oh yeah, Lindsay, telenovela. Yes, thank you. It's
The novella.
Naomi?
Naomi Webster and then Scott Ambrosie's left.
Okay, Naomi and Scott. Awesome. Okay. First of all, Naomi, this is changing up your look a little bit. So when I read this card, it's called Going with the Flow. But what I saw is going with the fro. So I don't know if you've been thinking about doing your hair differently. This seems like a really simple thing, changing your hair up, but not for you. That is very symbolic. It's very symbolic about how you see yourself in the world. When you are dressed up and you have these new clothes and you have maybe some new makeup, it gives you this level of confidence. Are you willing to up your level of confidence? So Hannah, if Hannah's still on the show, and we were talking about this today, there isn't one artist out there, whether they're actor, singer, painter, that wasn't criticized, that were told that they couldn't sing, that they couldn't paint, their painting wasn't good enough. Oh, you know what? That just doesn't fit my genre. Just no. There are people out there that this is going with the flow for you, where it's going to get easier and easier. But up your game, up your presentation. Go into some of the bigger galleries, but dress to the nines. Like, I mean, yeah, it's going to be really good. Because spirit, going with the flow, water is very symbolic of spirit. Spirit's got you. Okay, it's going to be directing. So everybody on the show, I love Naomi, that you and Scott are toward the end here. This is where you're going with the flow. 2 months ago, I never met Scott Ambrosie, right? And then he just finished the script today, right? It's like thrilling. It's like so amazing because he's so talented and it's exciting. But that's just, neither of us saw each other coming, right? That's an example of going with the flow of spirit. Okay, Scott. Courage. In the most unlikely places, these amazingly beautiful flowers break through the hardest of concrete. And this is your time. This is absolutely your time. And you don't think of a flower as having courage, right? But it just doesn't even, it just goes around the obstacles. There's always a way. And there's always a way with what's coming up in your life. There's always a way to get the life beyond your imagination. It's happening. Okay. All right. Do we have everybody?
That's everybody.
I love you all. Hopefully we'll be back by Sunday night from the mountain. Scott and I are going up to play with some other creators up there. And so we'll be back Sunday night, 6 p.m. Tell your friends and family. Thank you for all the new ones being on the show tonight. For all of you that have come back that I haven't seen in it, we haven't seen in a few months, welcome back. And great love to you all. Thank you. And if you want to text me or instant message me, give me some feedback. Kenan and I love that feedback because it really helps both of us. So great love to you all. Have a great night.